I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Top K-pop breaking story, Tokyo Dome, April 18th, 2026. A moment not only captured on camera, but also ingrained in the memories of anyone who witnessed it. The Tokyo Dome that morning looked like a giant room holding its breath. There was no crowd yet, no roar. But the atmosphere already hinted that this day would be a historic moment in the journey of BTS and ARMY. The sunlight filtering through the gaps in the stadium's roof met the still-dimmed stage lights, creating an almost surreal atmosphere, calm, yet full of anticipation. Amidst the empty seats, a crucial session began. Soundcheck for the second day of the Arirang tour. Normally, this session is just a technical procedure, but that morning it transformed into a story that shook the digital world. It all started with a 54-second video. The footage showed Jungkook standing at the center of the expansive stage, wearing a simple black outfit that was striking in its simplicity. There were no visual effects, no background cheers. Just his figure, the microphone, and the echo of his voice filling the entire room. Their clear vocals broke the silence, and precisely because they were uninterrupted, their quality sounded so authentic. Then the camera panned over to one of the members, wearing a bright green jacket, moving energetically under the warming lights. In contrast to Jungkook's outfit, the combination of the two colors created a powerful visual harmony, as if illustrating the balance between calm and energy that has always been BTS's hallmark. This small interaction between them, though only part of a rehearsal, demonstrated a closeness and discipline that never wavered. Without an audience, without the pressure of a stage, they practiced with the same precision as when performing in front of tens of thousands of people. But the real surprise came soon after. Another clip, 64 seconds long, showed something that captivated ARMYs worldwide. They were practicing Crystal Snow, a Japanese song from 2017, emotional, difficult, and deeply meaningful to many fans. The song choice seemed like an invitation to relive the warmth of the past, but with a touch of maturity and years of experience. On the stadium's large screen, the faces of V and Jimin were clearly captured. V sang his part with his eyes closed, letting his voice flow and fill the empty space around him. Jimin, with his soft, steady high notes, added a layer of emotion that heightened the atmosphere. Although it was just a rehearsal, their expressions conveyed a sincerity often only seen in an artist's most private moments. The stage lighting was still being adjusted, providing a candid, behind-the-scenes feel, as if we were being allowed a peek into a process that was usually private. The handheld camera footage only heightened the intimacy, imperfect but very real. The Tokyo Dome sign, faintly visible in the footage, was proof that the Arirang tour wasn't just a series of concerts, but part of a new chapter in their history. Even though they had conquered the world, they still returned to the songs that formed the emotional foundation of their early international career. Just minutes after the video appeared, the internet was on fire. Within minutes, the post was filled with likes, comments, and nostalgic responses. Many ARMYs admitted to being moved to tears just by hearing Jungkook's vocals in Crystal Snow. The song, once synonymous with winter, now brings a special warmth amidst BTS's return to the global stage. This soundcheck also seemed to signal that BTS wouldn't limit their Arirang tour to new material. Instead, they seemed to want to combine their long journey into a celebratory series, providing surprise after surprise at each concert. Upon closer inspection, that morning's rehearsal revealed a collection of small, meaningful symbols. Jungkook's black outfit, emphasizing total focus. A green jacket, conveying bright energy. A voice without effects, conveying pure quality. A warm interaction on an empty stage. And a classic song brought back to life. It all coalesced into one grand narrative. BTS still stands with the same dedication, even though the world has changed so much since they first performed the song 9 years ago. The soundcheck at the Tokyo Dome wasn't just a technical routine. It was one of the most honest moments a musician can have. Without the hustle and bustle, without the pressure of professional cameras, there was just music, sound, and self-reflection. At this point, BTS seemed to be more than just preparing for a concert. They were celebrating their own journey. Preparations inside the Tokyo Dome began to pick up pace. The sounds of technicians adjusting frequencies, the footsteps of staff members ensuring every corner of the venue was ready, and brief conversations in the backstage area provided a backdrop that signaled the approaching big moment. However, the atmosphere from that morning's soundcheck lingered. as if laying the emotional foundation for the entire day. Following the Crystal Snow rehearsal that had shaken the digital world, the members reportedly made additional technical adjustments. Spotlights were retested, LED panels retested with different visuals, and digital instruments were meticulously checked one by one. The success of a concert of this magnitude hinged not only on BTS's stage presence, but also on the small, precisely designed details. On one side of the stage, several members could be seen conversing with the sound engineers. They were double-checking the position of their in-ear microphones, the distance to the stage, and the audio monitor settings. Although only audible from a distance, their communication was professional, concise, clear, and understanding. There was no pressure, just a partnership built over the years. Meanwhile, the atmosphere outside the stadium began to change. ARMY, who had been scattered earlier, now began to fill the area around the Tokyo Dome more densely. They carried lightsticks, posters, and the latest merchandise from the Arirang tour. Many still didn't know what had happened during the soundcheck session, but rumors about Crystal Snow were spreading from one fan group to another. Their reactions varied. Some were in disbelief, some burst into tears, and still others simply stared up at the Tokyo skyline with a small smile, as if receiving a gift they never asked for but had always hoped for. In the main control room, monitors showed a replay of the morning's session. Footage of Jungkook's voice drifting through the empty space, V and Jimin's subtle harmonies, and the silhouettes of the other members were now being evaluated by the production team. They were ensuring the quality was perfect for when thousands of ARMY voices filled the stadium tonight. Slowly, time entered the phase where all preparations had to move more quickly. Costume designers began entering the members' preparation rooms, carrying the outfits they would wear for the opening concert. The costume designs seemed to align with the Arirang theme, elegant, slightly traditional, yet modern with a touch of BTS's signature aesthetic. There was something different, something that seemed to merge the past and present into one image. On the other side of the stage, a member was seen doing a little stretch while listening to a snippet of music through earphones. His expression was calm, yet focused. There was an aura that only appears when an artist is truly ready to enter a stage that means so much to them. The Tokyo Dome isn't just a venue. It's a location where history is always waiting to be rewritten. Meanwhile, staff began to close off access to certain areas, signaling that they were entering the final stages before the concert began. The main stage lights were tested one last time. The lights reflected off the high walls of the Tokyo Dome, creating a dramatic atmosphere that only those inside could experience. But beneath all the technical flurry, one thing remained at the heart of today's story: the closeness between BTS and ARMY. This morning's soundcheck wasn't just another rehearsal. It was a reminder that their relationship has always been built on such candid moments. In the midst of a long journey, there are always small moments that reconnect old memories with new realities. When the gates finally opened, the cheers that erupted from outside made the air inside the venue vibrate. ARMY began to enter the stands, one by one, bringing a palpable energy that flowed all the way to the center of the stage. And unbeknownst to them, BTS was quietly preparing backstage, listening to the sound of thousands of footsteps entering, a sound that always served as a catalyst for every concert. That day, the soundcheck that had once been a global conversation had transformed into an emotional warm-up for a night that would unite the past, present, and future. And top K-pop was once again witness. The Tokyo Dome awaited, and BTS was ready to enliven the entire space with a new history.